hello everyone. Hope you all are doing good. So you had a weekend just to rest. I hope you did not study in that too. But of course, staying inside the house, what else can you do, right? Okay, fine. So before we start the new chapter today, of course, we'll be starting with chapter 9. But before we start that, we have to check the homework which we did for chapter 8, the last lesson 10, where you had to draw the graph which you had inequalities. So quickly let's check if the answers which you have done, which you have got, are correct or not. Okay, girls. So starting, this is chapter 8, lesson 10, page 481. Okay, so let's check the answers quickly so that we can go on to the next lesson. Question number 2. So you just have to graph the inequality. X is less than negative 4 over 5. All what you need to do is on the line, you have to find where this particular number is, right? Once you find that number, you draw a circle on top. Now, once you draw the circle, you decide whether you have to color it or not. How do you know that you have to color it or not? You have to check this symbol here. If this symbol is written alone without the sign down, without the equal sign down, then you will not color it, because we have to show that it is not a solution. To show that it's not a solution, we don't color it inside. So which side are you going to draw the arrow? Of course, you have to draw it to the left, because you can see the symbol is also pointing to the left. So this is how you have to remember it. Okay, so question number 3, we have y is greater than negative 2. So the first step is draw a circle on negative 2. So always search for the number which is in the question. So negative 2, draw a circle, and then you decide you're going to color it or not. Here, of course, you will not color it because there is no equal sign under it, right? So because there is no equal sign, you will not color it. And where is this equation sign? So the inequality symbol showing you, it's showing to the right. So you will draw the graph to the right. As easy as that, right? Okay, now here, n is greater or equal to 1.5. So where is 1.5? This is, all of you know by now, 1.5 is between 1 and 2. So you draw a circle between 1 and 2. Now, do you color it? Yes, you do, because here they have given you equal to, greater or equal to, which means 1.5 can also be a solution. So because it can be a solution, you circle, you color that part, and then you go to the right as how the symbol is showing you. The same here, we have negative 0.4, and here they have not given you. So how do you count this? It's 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6. So what is in between 0.2 and 0.6? Yes, it's 0.4, so it's negative. We need to find it between negative 0.2 and 0.6. So you draw a circle, and then you decide whether you have to color it or not. Do you color it? Did you color it? If you have colored it, very good. So because you have to color it, as there is less or equal sign here. So if there is equal sign, you will color it. And then where is the inequality symbol showing you which way? To the left. So you will draw the arrow to the left. Question number 6 and 7, you need to write the inequality. Now, how do you write the inequality? Always, as usual, you choose any letter you want to, any variable you want to. So here they have chosen x. So where is the arrow starting from? It is starting from 3. So you have x on one side, you have 3 on the other side, and you have to fill in this part. So how do you fill in this part? Only you see where is the arrow pointing? It's pointing to the right, which means it is greater. Now, will you put the equal sign down? No, because the circle is not colored. So you will only write it as x is greater than 3. Question number 7. Again, where is the, now you can use any letter you want to. Again, they have written here x, you can use y, you can use A, you can use D, anything. Okay, and which number do we write on the other side? We write -5 on the other side because that's where the circle is. Now again, it's not colored, which means we will not have to write the equal sign down. So the arrow is showing to the right again, which means it is a greater sign. Okay, now going to the problem solving questions. Inequality x is less than or equal to 2 represents an elevation x of a certain object found at a dig site. Graph the solution. Now, I don't think by now you guys have any problem in graphing or writing the equation inequalities. So again, less than 2, you search for 2, draw the circle, decide will you color it? Yes, you will color because it's less or equal to, so which means you need to shade it. Now which side is the inequality symbol showing? No, it's showing you to the left, so you draw the arrow to the left. Simple. And again here, it's x is greater or equal to 144, which means you will draw a circle on 144, and you will draw the arrow to the right because the symbol is showing greater, and also you will color the circle because there is the symbol equal to, there is the line below it. Next page, question number 1 and 2. You have to write the inequality that is shown by the graph. So here the inequality you have to write, you will have a letter on one side and a number on one side. You can choose any letter. Again, as usual, here they used x. So x and on one side and -2 on the other side, which means you have to choose the symbol now. How do you choose the symbol? Just look at the arrow, which side it's showing. It's showing greater. So put the greater sign as the arrow. See this part of the arrow? This part, right? It's the same. And because it's shaded, you have to put the equal sign, so which means x is greater or equal to -2. Okay, now this question, describe the graph g is less than 0.6. So what they want you to do is they just want you to explain them how to draw this graph. That's all. What you will do, you will draw a circle on 0.6. Now, is that circle empty or colored? It's going to be an empty one because there is no equal sign. So empty circle at 0.6 with shading to the left. It goes to the left. So this is the way they have given in the book. That also, this is the teacher's book, right? So you can explain the same thing in any way you want to. And it's going like how you will graph g is less than 0.6 on a number line. You can write it in your own words. Okay, girls. So this was your homework. I hope most of you have done it correct. So let's go on to today's lesson. That's chapter 10. Okay, sorry, why am I going to chapter 10? We have to do chapter 9 first. Okay, this is chapter 9, lesson 1, page 491. I want you to open page 491 in your books, and this is going to be your lesson for today and also for tomorrow. So the lesson's name is independent and dependent variable. Now before I explain you the lesson, let me first tell you what is the meaning of independent and what is the meaning of dependent. See, independent means you don't need anyone's help. For example, if you're doing your homework independently means no one is helping you. Okay, dependent means yes, you need someone to help you. That's called dependent. Okay, now if I give another example in a family, okay, you have your mom, your dad, your brother, sister, all of them. Okay, now who is independent in your family? Who is the one who brings money and who gives everything for you? Your dad. So your dad is an independent man because he doesn't need anyone else to give money for him, right? So this is independent. And who are the dependents in your family? Of course, your mom, unless your mom is not working. If she's not working, yes, she's also dependent. Okay, so dependent means whoever is needing help. For example, even you, how can you pay the school fee when your dad doesn't? So your dad is independent there, and you are dependent. Even for food, you need money. So who gives you the food? Your dad, of course. So you are dependent on your dad and mom for all these things. So keeping this in mind, independent means you don't need anyone's help. Dependent means you need someone's help. So keeping these two things in your mind, in this lesson we are going to be learning about independent and dependent variable. Okay, one, because in this lesson it's very important that you have to that you need to I identify which is independent and which is dependent. So let's go to the lesson and check what we have to do. Before we go, okay, girls. So until I explain what this question is, let's see what your friend that's like yesterday, I don't know, yesterday from the screen the dog was missing. So let's see today what the lesson has to tell you. Okay, it's this the same lesson. All what you need to be doing is just listen to it.
How can you write an equation to represent the relationship between an independent variable and a dependent variable? Hey there, Coco and I are enjoying this beautiful day at the park. A local business offers tours in hot air balloons. I bet you can see the whole town from way up there. Look, there's one in the sky now. It doesn't look like the hot air balloon is moving very fast. Could you check its speed? Whoa, the hot air balloon is moving at a rate of 5 miles per hour. That's faster than it looks. Since we know its speed, Coco and I are wondering if there's a way we can figure out how far the balloon will travel in a certain amount of time. Let's try forming an equation with dependent and independent variables to represent the relationship between the total distance the balloon travels, d, and the number of hours, 8. Here's a problem that asks you to create an equation.
Okay, girls. So this is the same unlock the problem which is found in your book. It's the
Let's
same one.
unlock them.
Okay, it's the same one. So you can just listen to what they are saying, and then I will explain you also after they finish what you have to understand and what you need to be doing.
Problem. Let's start by identifying the independent and dependent variables. Jerry burns 6 3/10 calories for every minute she jogs. Identify the independent and dependent variables in this situation. Then create an equation to represent the relationship between the number of minutes Jerry jogs and the total number of calories she burns.
Okay, now here what they are saying is Jerry burns 6.3 calories for every minute she jogs. Okay, which means Jerry is burning calories for every minute she's jogging. So for every jog, she's burning calories, right? Now we have to find in this situation which is the dependent variable, which is which is the independent variable. Now, what are the two situations given in this question? One is Jerry is the number of calories Jerry is burning. That is one situation, one variable. And what is the other variable which is given? How many minutes she's jogging. So there are two things in this question. One is how much calories she is burning, and the other one is how many minutes is she jogging. So keeping these two, okay, You girls tell me now, which is the independent, means which doesn't need any help, and which is the dependent, which means if she does this only, she will do this. This is independent. If she does this, this will happen. This is dependent. So which is the independent one and which is the dependent one? Think fast. Okay. Now, what is the thing which Jerry can do? She can jog, right? Now, how much she wants to jog is up to her. She can jog for 5 minutes. She can jog for 10 minutes. It's up to her. There is no control on how many minutes Jerry wants to jog, right? But how much calories she's burning depends on how many minutes she jogs. Understood? So here, the number of calories which Jerry burns depends on how many minutes she jogs. So the independent variable is the number of minutes she jogs, and the dependent variable is how many calories Jerry burns. Okay.
Let's start by identifying the independent and dependent variables. Letters are used to represent the variables. The variable C represents the number of calories Jerry burns. The variable M represents the number of minutes she jogs. The value of the independent variable determines the value of the dependent variable. What are the dependent and independent variables? The number of calories Jerry burns, C, depends on the number of minutes she jogs, M. This means C is the dependent variable and M is the independent variable. Now, let's create an equation to represent the relationship between C and M. The total number of calories burned is equal to 6 3/10 times the number of minutes jogged. The total number of calories is C, and the number of minutes jogged is M. So the equation C equals 6 3/10 M represents the number of calories C Jerry burns if she jogs M minutes, where C is the dependent variable and M is the independent variable.
Okay, girls, now what did you understand here? Now that you know the number of calories burned is dependent on how many minutes Jerry is jogging, right? So, yeah, she's jogging, fine. So for 1 minute, she's burning 6.3, which means for 2 minutes, what do? You multiply that with 2. 6.3 multiplied by 2. So here they just asked us to write an equation, which means we are just going to say that you can take the number of minutes jogged as any M. Okay, so 6.3 multiplied by M is going to give you the number of calories Jerry burns. That is, if you want to find out for 5 minutes how many calories Jerry burned, so 6.3 multiplied by 5, that's going to give you how many calories Jerry burned. Okay, now moving on to the next thing.
Here's another problem that asks you to write.
This is also in the other page of your book. I will show you the page. Okay. That is, I think, page number. So here, first, before we go to the next one, let's complete this part. So that was a video for you to understand what this is. So here again, identify the independent and dependent variables. So C represent the total number of calories Jerry burns, and let M represent the number of minutes Jerry jogs. So which is the dependent variable? Of course, C, that is calories, are dependent on the minutes which Jerry is jogging. So how do you write this? C equals 5.8 multiplied by M. So the equation 6 equals 5.8 M represents the number of calories C Jerry burns if she jogs M minutes, where C is the dependent variable and M is the independent variable. Okay, so this part, the next question which I'm going to play is about this example here. Okay, so once you finish that, we will go on to question number 1. So keep watching. I will just play the next question for you.
An equation. Lorelai is spending the afternoon bowling with her friends. Each game she plays costs $3.75, and there is a one-time shoe rental fee of $2.25. Let's unlock the problem. Identify the independent and dependent variables. Then you can write an equation to represent the relationship between the number of games and the total cost. Let's start by identifying the dependent and independent variables.
Okay, now before they identify the dependent and independent variable, let's check whether we understood what is dependent and independent variable. What's the problem? They're saying Lorelai is spending the afternoon bowling with her friends. Each game she plays costs $3.75. Okay, and there is a one-time shoe rental fee of $2.25. So she has gone for bowling. Okay, as you know, sometimes when you go for bowling, we have to, of course, rent the shoes. Okay, they don't let us go in with our shoes. So she has to buy the shoes. If she's going for bowling, she has to get the shoes. Now that fee is $2.25. So no matter how many hours she stays inside, but she has to give $2.25 for that shoe. But they said each game is $3.75. Okay, which means each game is $3.75. So when she plays 2 games, that's $3.75 again. Again, if she plays the third game, that is again an extra $3.75. So here, which is the dependent variable and which is the independent variable? That's more important to understand, which is the dependent and which is the independent. Now there are 2 things to be done, right? One is the shoe rental, that's one of the variable, and the other one is the game she's playing. So these 2 things, one is the shoe rent and other one is the games she is playing. Which is the independent and which is the dependent one? Let's find out.
The total cost, C, in dollars, depends on the number of games G, Lorelai plays. So C is the dependent variable and G is the independent variable. Now create an equation to represent the relationship between C and G. The total cost is the cost of a game times the number of games plus the cost of shoe rental. The total cost is C, which equals the cost of a game, that is $3.75, times the number of games, which is G, plus the cost of shoe rental, which is $2.25. So what's the final equation? Equation C equals 3 7/75 G plus 2 25 represents the total cost in dollars C that Lorelai spends if she bowls G games.
Okay, good. So going back to your book, I hope you understood this part. The total cost for playing the game is C. Okay, that means it's like 2.25 she has to pay for the shoes no matter how many games she plays. So for the cost of 1 game, it's 3.75. You multiply it with G, that's the number of games, okay, whether she plays 2 or 3, plus 2.25 because there's a must. The shoe rental is a must. So finally, when you write the equation together, you can say as C, that's the cost, total cost to play the games, equals 3.7 G, because you know 3.75 multiplied by G, we write it together, plus 2.25. So going back to your book, okay, here they have given you dash is the independent variable. So we have to choose the letter for that. Here they have chosen C because up to you, you can choose any letter you want to, it doesn't matter. So G is the independent variable. First you need to decide for which letter you're going to use for the independent one and which letter you're going to use for the dependent one. It doesn't matter whichever letter you choose. So the total cost, that's to play the total cost, the game, that's C, because the total cost depends on how many games she plays, right? That's why this is dependent. The total cost of the game is dependent because that's depend depends on how many games she is playing. So how many games she's playing is G, we don't know, which is the independent variable, plus the shoe rental. So your equation will be like this. Okay, girls. So here they have given you another part. Use your equation to find the total cost Lorelai to play the total cost for Lorelai to play 3 games. So this is our equation. You just need to put 3 in place of G, that is 3.25 multiplied by 3, which will give you 9.75. So if you add, that means that it's going to give you 12.25. Okay, I hope that's clear for you. If it's not clear, just go back and rewind the video and watch it again. You will understand. Okay, so moving on to question number 1 on page 493. This question, we are going to be doing question number 1. So listen to this also.
Let's create an equation that represents this situation. An online store lets customers have their name printed on any item they buy. The total cost, C, in dollars is the price of the item, P, in dollars, plus $2.99 for the name. Start by identifying the independent and dependent variables.
Okay, so here we have an online store lets customers have their names printed. As you know, we also get many things here where we can print our names, print our pictures on mugs and all this. Okay, so the total cost of printing is, that is C. Here already they gave you the variable, you don't need to choose it, is the price of the item P in dollars plus 2.99 for the name. So the total cost of this getting something printed depends on the price of the item plus 2.99 for the name. So plus 2.99 you have to pay. Okay, now always remember, there's a small tip. Shh, don't tell anyone. There's a small tip I'm giving you. Always the total cost is the dependent variable. Total cost is always dependent variable. No matter whatever question comes, total cost is always dependent. Okay, now the total cost C. So here what they're asking, the dash depends on the dash. So what depends on what? Is the price of the item depends on the total cost? What did I just say? The dependent variable is cost always. So it's the total cost.
Which variable depends on the other variable? Great job. The total cost.
The total cost always is dependent. So if that's dependent, the other one becomes independent.
Depends on the price of the item. So what are the dependent and independent variables?
Okay, now which are the dependent variable? So now we said that total cost is dependent. So what's the total cost? It's C. So let's put C here, which is the independent one. The price of the item is independent. So let's put C here. Let's check.
Excellent. The dependent variable is C, which represents the total cost, and the independent variable is P, which represents the price of the item. Now, create an equation to represent the relationship between C and P.
Okay, girls. Now we have to write an equation. Always, you know, the dependent variable comes in front of the equal sign. So here the dependent variable is C, that's the total cost. So where is C in front? It should be this, this, or this. Of course, not this, because the dependent variable is always equal to. Okay, now how do we choose among these three, which is the correct one? You know that they have given you here, it's 2.99. So the price of the item and 2.99. From the words which I told now, what did you understand? Price plus 2.99. The price and means it's going to be plus.
That's right. The equation that represents the total cost, C, is the price of the item, P, plus 2.99 for the name.
Okay, good. So I hope I hope you understood this part of your lesson. So let's go back to the book, and not you go back, let me go back to the book, and let's start solving the questions. Okay, so this is lesson 1 here. See, the dash depends on the price of the item. So what depends on the price of the item? The total cost, of course, depends on the price of an item. So the dependent variable was C, the independent variable was P. So the equation is going to be C equals P plus 3.99. Now, question number 3, I want you to concentrate on question number 2 first before I go to 3. Okay, so question number 2. Fine. This question number 2. A raft travels downriver at a rate of 6 miles per hour. The total distance D, so here's the variable, which is the total distance, okay, in miles that the raft travels is equal to the rate times the number of hours h. Okay, so here we have two variables, t and h. Always, what did I just tell you? The total of something is always dependent. So the total or distance is also dependent on how many the raft travels is equal to the rate times means multiply here, the number of hours. So times means multiply. Remember, times means multiply. So the raft travels is equal to the rate times the number of hours h. So something multiplied by h, this much we know. So what is the rate of the raft? It's 6. So which means it should be 6 multiplied by h, right? So first let's identify which is the dependent and independent variable. Dependent. What is dependent here? Of course, I told you the total of something is always dependent. So it is d. Okay, and what is the independent variable? H. So how can we write an equation based on this? You know now, the dependent is always equal, so which means D equals, you have to start that way. D equals, what's the number they have given? 6 miles multiplied by H. They also said time, so 6 multiplied by H, which is D equals 6H. Okay, so question number 3. Apples are on sale for 199 a pound. Sheila buys P pounds of apples for a total cost of C dollars. Again, total. The total of something is always dependent. So here, which is the dependent variable? The total cost, which is C. So C is dependent, right? And which is the independent variable? P, because that's how many pounds Sheila is buying. And how much is the price of 1 pound? It's 1.99 pounds, dollars for 1 pound. So if Sheila buys 2, 1.99 multiplied by 2. If Sheila buys 5, 1.99 multiplied by 5. So 1.99 multiplied by P. So this is your equation. Okay, girls. So I hope that was clear for you, the lesson for today. Anyhow, tomorrow also we'll be continuing the same lesson so that you will be more clear of what you need to do. But before I finish this video, I want you to do question number 2 and 3 as your homework. Don't look at the answers. I want you to do question number 2 and 3 as the homework so that tomorrow before we start, we will discuss what are the answers for the homework. So until I see you, until I meet you in the next video, stay safe and take care of yourself.